morning to all participants. The content, I'll be looking at the background information that I've gathered. Then I will be looking at the current situation at Osiadan and then Ataala. Then I'll try to talk about some few mitigation measures. And then finally, we'll look at the concluding remarks. Okay, so to start with, the information I've gathered so far was that some interagency committee comprising of GHA, EPA, AESL, Ministry for Works and Housing, specifically the Hydro Department, and then the Ghana South Municipal Assembly was formed in 2021 to address the existing problem. The solution that they brought out were not implemented. Again, I gathered that the proposed site, that the Osiadan section, was used as a borrow pit during the construction of the Tema Roundabout road project. And it was alleged that the contractor failed to reinstate the land. And we also gathered that some studies were carried out by the same Ghana South Municipal Assembly and the Greater Accra region, that's the GHE, the Accra North section, but they could not also go through because of lack of funds. What I've seen is that the agencies are all confused because we don't know which particular agency to take charge of the problem. Whether GHA, EPA, AESL, Ministry of Works and Housing, or the Assembly. There is no, it has not been committed to a particular agency. And so it is just going round. And then some flimsy excuses were being given by people in authority. You ask, and then this person will say, is this person's problem? And things like that. And also, we heard some stories about indiscriminate sand winning activities over a period of time after the contractor has left the site. And so the assembly had to come in to stop the sand winning activity. That's at the toe of the bridge, the hill. They believe that there's an existing deity at the place that needs to be pacified before any solution could be found. And the reason why engineers are confused as to the exact solution to be implemented. And then when you talk to the people around, they will tell you that it is nobody's business. They've seen several people come to the place and nothing has happened. So to them, it is nobody's business. I want to demonstrate and showcase what the background looked like. If you are watching on the screen, this is a picture depicting the level of deterioration at the toe section of the bridge, of the hill. The white section shows the stabilized area that was done by the contractor after winning the material. And so if you look at the middle, there is a big gully that has been created as a result of the runoff from the hills. If you look at this picture, you can clearly see the existing surface That's the white section with the on it. The of the erosion that has taken place. And this measure about 10 meters. That's for the ground. And so this is what is happening. The topmost portion, which was solid rock, was blasted and then material taken away. And then they got to this section, which is highly silt. It's silt in content, silt as a soil material. So what is happening is that anytime it rains, this silt is what is washed through its own path to the existing road. And I will show a bit of a video to demonstrate the terrain and the way it is currently. If you look at this picture, it shows the level of deterioration, a big gap that has been created as a result of continuous rains, and then the runoff, creating this big gap. Then you can also see new ones trying to emanate. And it's also a portion of it that depicts the same problem. Now, this is the video. There's some 2 minutes something. The white section is existing. And then this is the extent of damage to the existing ground. You can see the holes that have been created. That is an area view. Now, if you look at this path, it's what is gathered, what gathers the runoff, and then once it gets here, it washes it off. There's another path here that does the same to the existing ground. So if you watch closely, you can see the gap being created. And this is the foot, that's the toe of the bridge, this section, where we have the vegetation. It has a lot of water gathered there. So once it rains and then the saturation comes, there is the movement. And that results in the erosion. Yeah, so all these sections have a lot of water gathered. And anytime it rains, it's only, all it needs is a top up to allow flow. And then the destruction continues. Yeah, so if you look at this, the whole scarp, the area with the vegetation of some sections, these areas are okay. But when you come to this section, that is what is causing the damage. There's a big gap here, big gully here. We have the gully at these sections, a very deep one. So as shown in the previous video, this one shows the path. Yeah, so after the water has gathered under the toe, you can see the hill and then the toe. So the water gathers and then passes through this section to the roadside. And there are more coming. All these are silty material, which will eventually come to the roadside after a heavy storm. So that's the top and then the descending sections. So all these houses are in danger. So this section can easily flow if we get a lot of saturation underneath. These are the paths created by the water that does the damage at that section. Yeah, so shit. This computer. Okay. Yeah, if you watch closely, this is where the contractor worked. They want material from the top and then try to batter the section so that at least the hill could be protected. But now when it rains, everything comes here and then gathers under the vegetation here before the movement takes place. So, and then I want to show the path. You can see where the water, and then some sections here. If you walk through, you will see some gullies here. So all these ones are unstable. And these sections will soon break down. But there are a lot of cracks along that path. Okay. So this is where the water passes. It flows through this path, through this side. And this, even here, measures about 2 meters. Go through that path. And there is a wall here, and then this building. And it goes in between these two walls, like this wall and then this structure, just by the side of this wall. And then again, this is another free flow path that's directly from the top. But the section I showed earlier uses this path to join it at this section. So currently this mast is being undermined, and we have to seriously look at it. And so it passes through this path, goes through this section, and then from here to the roadside. So GHA constructed a side drain here just to allow proper flow, that's fresh water, to go to the roadside. But unfortunately, anytime it rains, it brings a lot of silt into this drain, and within seconds, it gets full. And then all flowing back to the roadside. This is where we have the depositions. Everything deposits here. And then, so it has affected this section of the road. But when it comes, it flows into this section, and then machines have to come and collect all the debris, which I will show later. So you can see the Osiadan Dam, and that is as the Accra bound and then Kaswa bound. There's another section. They used to worship here. And so, because this area is paved, when it rains, it gathers water and flows through here, and it has caused, there's another water that passes through this section. So it's created a big gap here, highly eroded, and it is so dangerous. We had to use this path to pass here, and it's as if you are in hell. So if you watch closely, that's the depth. Very, very deep, and looks very dangerous. And soon all this section will collapse in. And when it rains, it gathers water here, flows through this section, and then to the roadside, as usual. So a short video to depict the extent of damage. If you look at all this, this is the extent of damage. So it tells you how dangerous the situation looks. Yes, so that's the depth. Goes down, flows through this place to the roadside. Yes, you can clearly see it now. All this section is gone. Okay, so I want to talk about the Ataala section, the current situation. Ataala is close to the West Hill Mall. That's the STC end there. That is from the old barrier to STC. And over a period, they've constructed a storm drain from the top of the hill to a section where it terminates. So from where it terminates to the roadside is what washes the earth and then eventually deposited on the road. So again, I will show a short video demonstrating the extent, showing the path. So this is the Accra bound. If you are going to, this is Kaswa, and where the vehicles are is Accra bound. So that's the section where the water passes. It flows from the top of the hill towards the roadside. So we are going in the reverse manner. So this section is what washes to the roadside. There is a road here. Formerly, the storm drain terminates at under this tree. So when it comes, it goes onto this road and then floods this whole place. So the residents created a barrier here so that the water, that's an earth barrier to resist the water from going there. So now it has created its own path, of which we just saw the white section to the roadside. So the storm drain ends here. It goes through this section to the China Mall. And that's the end of the storm drain. So it washes all this material to the roadside as it flows. You can see the storm drain here. That is lined. The limestone drain is, all this section has been lined, except where it terminates. So there is a big sump here. So the water flows from this under the road and then goes through to the roadside. And that's the China Mall. And this place is an industrial hub. So some of their sewage material and everything goes through the same storm drain. So sometimes you can see some whitish material and material fluid flowing on the road. It's coming from this industrial area. You can see the SNIT buildings. And some of these areas have, the vegetation has been taken out, that is cleared. So sometimes it washes out the top into the drain and adds to the existing one as shown earlier. So you can see some of the companies, they've all connected their lines into the storm drain. So when it rains, everything comes to the roadside. And sometimes with that drain, it still comes. You can see the SNIT buildings. So there is the storm drain here that moves to the roadside, trying so that we get back to show the path properly. We have the drain here. It goes under this road through this section. As you can see, the storm drain goes through here under the road. That's the China Mall. Very showing the drains. All these are bare lands that easily washes into the drain. So you can see all that. Now, I'm saying that there are various direct methods of preventing these mudslides or the landslides, as you may. Sometimes you have to modify the slope geometry. We can also use the chemical agents to reinforce the slope material. We can also install structures such as piles, retaining walls, and then as done at Bray Hills, you can do the grouting of the rock joints and then the fissures. You can also divert the debris pathway. That's when it's gathered. You first have to make sure that you understand the path of the runoff from the hills, and then it can be properly directed, or rerouting the surface and then the underwater drainage. We can also talk about revegetation, slow stabilization, the retaining wall, as said earlier, the drainage control, and then land use planning. We are saying that implementing regulations and land use planning take into account landslide risk and can help prevent development in the high areas. So when we ensure that we have enough vegetation, like as depicted here, you can do the vegetation on it by planting trees, making sure the bushes grow on it, and then doing the steps as shown here.